Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. We have a cracker of a game for you today. This is Crescent in the German Tier 10 cruiser, the Hindenburg. I have to admit, when I first started watching this replay, I really didn't get it. Not at first, not for the first half of this battle. It is as dull as dishwater. Don't worry, we're going to be skipping through most of the boring parts. At the beginning of this game, I just thought, why did you send this replay to me? Because next to nothing happened. Then again, that's really the way you play the Hindenburg at the start of a battle. The thing is bloody huge. It's the size of some of the smaller battleships. Also, the surface detection range of the Hindenburg is pretty bad as well. It's got a base surface detection range of 16 kilometers. The only Tier 10 cruiser worse than that is, of course, the battleship Moskva. Now, of course, with the relevant crew skills and equipment modules, you can get that base surface detection range down to about 12 kilometers, but, well, when you look at the Japanese Tier 10, the Zhao, that has a base surface detection range of 12.6. So, yeah. The Hindenburg is a rather big and rather obvious target. And so it's not unusual for Hindenburgs that show their hand early in a battle to get deleted very, very quickly, because they're a very obvious and juicy target for enemy battleships to shoot at. And sure enough, in this game, with a base surface detection rate, well, not a base, but a modified surface detection range of 12.3 kilometers, watch what happens as soon as Crescent gets spotted. There we go. Clearly there's an enemy cruiser or destroyer within 12.3 kilometers, and he's being targeted by one enemy ship. That number starts to go up very, very quickly. At the moment, enemy fire is being suckered in by that Benson over there. They got himself spotted and has dropped smoke. But just look how that number keeps climbing up. This is what you can expect if you show your hand a little early in a battle and you're in a Hindenburg, and this is why the first half of this battle was like watching paint dry, as Crescent played the game very, very cautiously and just kept his hit points intact, took shots at enemy ships when he had the chance to do so, but made sure that he didn't expose that broadside of the ship, if at all possible, to any of those Tier 8 and 9 battleships who were lurking around at the other side of the map, just waiting for the opportunity to slap a 16-inch armor-piercing shell right into his big, fat, juicy German citadel. The guns on the Hindenburg are very good, by the way. They don't reload as quickly as the Des Moines, but, well, that's kind of the Des Moines thing, really. The guns on the Des Moines, 203mm main battery guns on that ship, were autoloaders, and so they do have the fastest reload of any of the 203mm armed cruisers. But the Hindenburg does come a reasonably close second. And the guns on the Hindenburg do also have a better range than the Des Moines, 17.83 kilometers before you start applying modifications. Not only that, they have a faster shell velocity, so it's easier to hit a target at long range with the Hindenburg's 203mm guns, despite having a slower rate of fire than the Des Moines. The high explosive shells on the Hindenburg, however, well, they're just not very good. Although this is a feature of most German cruisers, particularly at low and mid tiers. They're not too bad at high tiers. They have a base 13% chance of setting fire on target, and you are firing 12 of these shells with every full broadside fired from all 4 of the turrets with 3 guns per turret, but, well, you're never going to beat a Zhao when it comes to setting fires on enemy ships, not in the Hindenburg. It's really all about the armor-piercing shells with the Hindenburg. Believe it or not, she has the hardest hitting armor-piercing shells of any cruiser in the game, with 5,900 maximum potential damage from each armor-piercing shell. That's even more than the 220mm armor-piercing shells fired by the battleship Moskva. It's even more potential armor-piercing damage than the 283mm guns on the Graf Spee, although the Graf Spee is a Tier 6, so that's probably understandable. Still, it's a very foolish or very confident player, even battleship player, who exposes the broadside of their ship to the massed 203mm gun batteries on the German Tier 10 Hindenburg cruiser. So what are the downsides of the Hindenburg? Well, aside from the horrendous 16-kilometer base surface detection range and the relatively poor performance of the high explosive shells for a Tier 10 cruiser, She's also not particularly manoeuvrable. She's kind of sluggish, and her top speed, while it isn't slow, 31.5 knots, it isn't particularly fast either. What's her armour like, Jingles? Well, it's tricky. It can be deceptive. The ship can be deceptively tough, particularly at medium and short range, where it's not as straightforward as you might think, despite the fact that she is just a cruiser to score as Citadel. She's got that turtleback armour layout. At long range, however, you can Citadel the Hindenburg just as easily as any other cruiser. Plunging fire through the deck basically negates the advantage of having the turtleback armour scheme, and battleships can Citadel this ship at long range with relative ease. Don't get too confident about your armour, however. Battleships can Citadel this ship at close and medium ranges with relative ease as well. It's really only against other cruisers where the turtleback armour scheme offers any kind of protection. Hang on a second. Oh, did you see that outrageous kill steal? On the Admiral Hipper there. Kill secured. 234 damage done. Well, a kill's a kill. That's one enemy ship less shooting back at us. Unfortunately, things are not going too well for the team as a whole. Despite trading a destroyer for an enemy cruiser, they don't hold any of the capture points, and this is really, really frustrating. If you're in a ship with as large a detection radius as the Hindenburg, you need somebody to get up there and start pushing the cap circles so you can make the most of your devastating long-range armour-piercing support fire without getting yourself deleted by all of those enemy battleships who are just licking their chops at the prospect of sinking some 16-inch or larger caliber armour-piercing shells right into a nice big fat juicy cruiser. And speaking of big fat juicy cruisers, the team have just lost a Prinz Eugen, so they're now down a destroyer and a cruiser, as well as not holding any of the capture points, although somebody is contesting Charlie, and they're way behind on points. However, spot of good news, the Cyclone is closing in, so visibility range is going to start dropping, which means the Hindenburg may be able to get in a little bit closer and start making a bit of a difference. It's not time to do it just yet, however, so Crescent continues doing what he's been doing, taking the opportunity to sink some punishing armour-piercing salvos into the broadside of that Iowa, who has exposed way too much of the side of the ship there in those fleeting moments when he does remain visible. Taking cover behind the islands, avoiding enemy fire, looking after his health, and not taking any unnecessary risks. They have lost another cruiser in the meantime. They recently lost an Atago, so they're now down 3 ships to the enemy team's 1. The points difference between these two teams is ridiculous. They have attempted to at least contest capture point Charlie, but it looks like they're being forced out of there as well. They have barely, well, they don't even have 200 points to their name, and the enemy team are approaching 800 points scored. Now this is where things could have gone horribly pear-shaped very, very quickly for Crescent. He's been caught flat-footed by that Tirpitz. Now he has done substantial damage to the Tirpitz in return, and the Tirpitz has just taken a torpedo from the Benson that we saw momentarily there. And that Benson is what's going to save Crescent's ass here. The Tirpitz is low on health, but, well, it's a Tirpitz. Visibility is down to 8 kilometers, but the Tirpitz is well inside that range. Crescent gets his torpedoes away. But remember, with 6-kilometer range torpedoes, if you can torpedo the Tirpitz can torpedo you as well, and the Tirpitz is turning broadside on. Low on health, he's clearly firing his own torpedoes, or setting up for a torpedo shot, and that's when the Benson saves his arse. At considerable risk to himself, I hasten to add. He's taken a lot of fire from the Tirpitz's secondaries, but he manages to shield Crescent's ship just in time for the torpedoes to strike home and finish that Tirpitz off, while Crescent is still in one piece. So with the Tirpitz sent to Davy Jones's locker, that's bought a bit of breathing space for Crescent's team. It's still not a fantastic situation. They're still... Oh, wait, no. Oh, right. I thought for a second they'd actually managed to even the scores as far as sinkings were concerned. But no, the enemy team went ahead and sunk another one as well. So they're now down 5 ships to the enemy team's 4. They're back down below 200 points, and the enemy team once again control all 3 of the cap circles. So they've got the points coming in, and Crescent's team doesn't. If Crescent wants to win this game, his team are going to have to start sinking enemy ships, and more importantly, they're going to have to start controlling those cap circles. And as if he heard me, finally, HMS Lion over there puts his man pants on and starts pushing into Alpha. Now it's being contested by the enemy Izumo, who just appeared through the cyclone over there. But the Izumo is angled, well, he's going to be turning to angle against the Lion. And that means it's going to be party time for the 203mm armor piercing shells fired by Crescent's Hindenburg. He's spotted momentarily, but yep, targeted instantly, slipped back inside the Benson smokescreen and starts laying the hurt down on the Izumo. The Izumo doesn't really have an awful lot of choice here. It doesn't matter which way he turns, he's going to be exposing the side of his ship to somebody. And that's party time for Crescent in the Hindenburg, doing huge amounts of damage with every armor-piercing salvo. Now his secondaries are getting in on the deal, and the secondaries on this ship are not bad either. Oh, now that's something I didn't actually notice the first time I watched this replay. I don't know if you spotted that, but, well, there's the torpedo warning, and there are the torpedoes. But just for a second there, we spotted the secondaries on the disengaged side. That's the side disengaged from the Izumo, opening up. An enemy Loyang destroyer was momentarily spotted, and the secondaries opened up on him. Now the secondaries on the Hindenburg are not too bad at all either. It's got 16 of them, 8 per side, 105mm guns. They fire every 3.3 seconds. They have a 6-kilometer range. There's kill number 3, and that smokescreen to the rear, there he is. He's popped his hydroacoustic search, and he's spotted the Loyang. Now he's just popped out of range, but the Loyang may have panicked when he realised that he was suddenly detected while inside the smokescreen, and there he is. And seriously, if you're in a destroyer at this kind of range from a Hindenburg with his guns pointing towards you, just give up. Because you stand no chance whatsoever. And there's kill number 4. Meanwhile, Crescent and the Lion continue to capture Alpha, and bingo, there it is. And that's the first time in this entire game that Crescent's team have controlled one of the capture points. Now, they're still way behind on points. They still have less than 200, and the enemy team are about to reach 900. So they still have a mountain to climb, and the enemy team are going to win unless Crescent's team can start sinking some of them, but they're no longer in imminent danger of losing to points. Now, Crescent has spotted himself British Tier 9 battleship, the Lion, and unfortunately for the friendly Lion who assisted Crescent in disposing of the Izumo and capturing Alpha, there's another Tier 9 battleship just showing up at the other end of the map, the Frederick the Great. So the friendly Lion is probably in serious trouble and could use some assistance very, very soon. I think it's time for a spot of very rough and very violent surprise butt sex. It is time to fix the bayonets and go over the top. I hear those Tommies do not like it up them. For you Tommies, the war is very definitely going to be over. Is it going to be over in time to save the friendly Lion, however? Well, let's find out. There he is. Hands to butt sex stations. Loads the torpedoes. Torpedoes away. Loads the high explosive. How do you like them apples, Tommy? There's something deliciously ironic about a Lion getting set on fire by massed volleys of high explosive shells. Oh, I swear that thing had like 50,000 health just a couple of seconds ago. Hello, Tommy. I hear you like to hang out your washing on the Hindenburg line. Well, the Hindenburg line is not for laundry. Here, have some more torpedoes. Yep, high caliber and Kraken Unleashed, but wait, he's not done showing off yet, because that Frederick the Great just ran out of friends. He's got ships on all 3 sides in Edinburgh, a Lion, and the Hindenburg. Doesn't matter which way he turns, he's going to get screwed. It's really just a question of who's going to get the kill, and that double torpedo salvo looks like it's pretty much on target, and this armor-piercing salvo right into the broadside of the ship just above the armor belt. Yeah, there was never really any doubt where that one was concerned. Was the kill number 6 for Crescent in the Hindenburg. And at the point where he sunk the Lion, the enemy team were on 964 points. All they had to do was stay alive, not lose any ships, and let the points advantage carry them to a win. So losing the Lion and the Frederick the Great like that really hurt the enemy team. They're now down to 3 ships. If those 3 ships can stay alive, the difference in points between the 2 teams is so great that the enemy team can still win it. So it's really bad news for the enemy team that the Cyclone is passing, and visibility has just been restored. The enemy team still hold 2 of the capture points. They still have more points coming in than Kreskin's team. Staying alive isn't that difficult if you're in a cyclone, because the maximum view range is restricted to 8 kilometers. But with the cyclone passing, the enemy destroyer has just been sunk by the Missouri. There's the Megami. The Megami's done well to stay alive for as long as he has. He's only a tier 8 cruiser after all, and he was one of the first ships shot at, and that is really going to hurt. But can they hold on? There is one other cruiser still alive and kicking on the enemy team. Nope, he's just been sunk, which means the Megami is the last one up. And there's little chance he's going to survive for more than no, he's dead as well. So, what a comeback for Kreskin's team. And what an impressive 6 kills for Kreskint in the Hindenburg. As I said at the beginning, I did have my doubts when I started watching this replay. I just couldn't see what all the fuss was about and why Kreskin was so excited to send it in. But, well, I hope you agree it was worth the wait. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.